Welcome to Gemara Journey with Rashi. We are in Masechet Berachot in Daf Zayin Amud Aleph. This will be part 4 of the class. In the previous class, we started speaking about Rabbi Shua ben Levi, and in the class before that, we started speaking about Bilam HaRasha. Bilam HaRasha wanted to destroy the Jewish people. He knew exactly when Hashem gets angry. The reason why he wasn't able to destroy us is because Hashem never got angry in those days. The Gemara went on to ask, how long does Hashem get angry for? The Gemara answered, 0.061 of a second. Then the Gemara said, at which time of the day does Hashem get angry? The Gemara answered, in the first 3 hours of the day, when the rooster stands on one leg and his crest turns completely white. That was the story with Bilam. Then we also saw the story with Rabbi Shua ben Levi, similar concept, where the heretic was causing pain to Rabbi Shua ben Levi, and Rabbi Shua ben Levi wanted to curse him. He took a rooster, tied him to his bed, and he was waiting for the moment when the crest is going to turn completely white. What ended up happening? Rabbi Shua ben Levi fell asleep. Upon waking up, Rabbi Shua ben Levi realized that this was a sign from Hashem. He learned a very important moral lesson, not to curse people, even heretics. Rabotai, excuse me, having that in mind, we're going to do today's Gemara, today's piece, and you're going to have to ask yourself, why did this Tana bring it in the name of Rabbi Meir and teach me this teaching? For what? And I'll explain to you what I mean. The Gemara begins, Tana Mishmei de Rabbi Meir. It was taught in the name of Rabbi Meir. B'sha'a shehachama zorachat, at the time when the sun rises, v'chol malachei mizrach u'ma'arav manichim kitrehem b'roshehem, and all the kings of the east and the west, they place their crowns on their head, u'mishtachavim lachama, and they bow down to the sun. Miyad ko'ez HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbi, listen to this carefully. Immediately Hashem gets angry. Why did they bring me another teaching which is not consistent with the previous two teachings? In the previous two teachings with Bilam and Rabbi Shua ben Levi, we were speaking about Hashem's anger, which is only for a moment. And it's during the first 3 hours of the day when the crest turns white. Why did this Tana have to come and give me another teaching where Hashem gets angry during sunrise at the time when the kings bow down to the sun? What is this teaching doing over here? So this question, Rabotai, might not bother you, but this question bothered me very much. Because when the Gemara teaches it, again, remember, look, now we're getting to the two periods right over here. And so I want it to be consistent. If we're speaking about Bilam HaRasha, okay, fine. We're speaking about Rabbi Shua ben Levi, okay, fine, I understand, because they're both, they both have the same connection. Bilam wanted to curse the Jewish people exactly that same moment when Hashem gets angry. When is that moment? That's within the first 3 hours of the day when the rooster's crest becomes white. How long is that moment? 0.061 seconds. That's exactly the same thing what Rabbi Shua ben Levi wanted to do with the rooster when he tied him to his bed. But what is the Tana doing over here? Bringing me the name, in the name of Rabbi Meir. Tell me that Hashem gets angry immediately at sunrise when the other kings bow down to the sun. How is this consistent with the other two teachings? So Rabotai, it did bother me. I looked into the Mesifta. The Mesifta in Ot Mem Zayin towards the end brings down in the name of the Maharsha. Look what the Maharsha says. Since it was explained above, that Hashem gets angry every single day. Therefore, the Gemara brought this beraita. Through it, it's explained. The reason why Hashem gets angry every single day, because the kings of the other nations, they go ahead and they bow down to the sun. And this is hinted in what it said. shezoem bechol yom. Hashem gets angry every single day. Mipnei she'or hachama nikra b'shem yom. Since the sun, the light of the sun is called day, therefore the reason why Hashem gets angry every single day is because of the other kings of the world when they bow down to the sun. Where did we see it above in Masechet Berachot in Daf Zayin Amud Aleph? Right over here, Rabotai. We said over here, Ve'el zo'em bechol yom. And Hashem gets angry every single day. Right over here, Elohim shofet tzaddik. Hashem is the righteous judge. He judges righteously. Ve'el zo'em bechol yom. It's in Tehillim, Perek Zayin, Pasuk Yud Bet. And Hashem gets angry every single day. Comes the Maharsha. Do you know why this Tana was teaching us? Since it's really consistent. Since in the Gemara, what we just saw a second ago, right over here, since we spoke about Ve'el zo'em bechol yom, that Hashem gets angry every single day, because that's the whole thing. That's how the whole thing started. How long is Hashem's anger? Then we went on to say it's 0.061 of a second. When during the day does he get angry? We said in the first 3 hours of the day, when the rooster's crest turns white, and so on and so forth. Then we brought the story of Rabbi Shua ben Levi. So comes the Maharsha, and the Maharsha says, you know why we're teaching this now over here? Rabotai, do you know why this Tana brought in the name of Rabbi Meir? To go back and to explain to you why Hashem gets angry every single day. Because otherwise, I don't see why you would have to bring this Gemara inside over here. So comes the Maharsha and he tells you, since Hashem gets angry every single day, came this Tana in the name of Rabbi Meir to tell you it is because of the other kings of the world. When they wake up in the morning, they go, the first thing they do, they put the crown on their head and they bow down to the sun at sunrise. That's why Hashem gets angry every single day. That, Rabotai, is beautiful. And not only that, what did the Maharsha say? My proof to you is, how do I know that this reasoning of Rabbi Meir, that we're learning that this is the reason why Hashem gets angry? Because it says, Ve'el zo'em bechol yom. Yom resembles the sun. When the sun gives light, it's day. So that's why since the sun and the day, they resemble one another, I can go ahead and I can tell you that the reason why Hashem gets angry every single day is because of the kings. Watch this. If you look right over here, Ve'el zo'em bechol yom, when it says that Hashem gets angry every single day, if I take this word yom, 1 second. No. It's not going to give me. Okay. All right, but I hope you guys get the point. When you take the word yom, bechol yom, take it away and put it over there instead of bechol yom, say biglal hashemesh. Learn like that because yom and sun are interchangeable. When I say it's sunny outside, that means it's day. If I say it's day, that means you know the sun is out. So when it says Ve'el zo'em bechol yom, what it means is that Hashem gets angry every single day because of the sun. What do you mean because of the sun? Because the other kings of the world, they bow down to the sun. That's why Hashem gets angry every single day. Rabotai, as I was doing this Gemara, this is, I think, is my 4th or 5th time already doing Masechet Berachot, and this chiddush just hit me. As I was going over and over and over it, I'm like, why did he bring it down? Why did he bring it? Did it make sense? And Baruch Hashem, I was able to find an answer in the Mesivta. By the way, there's also different answers by the Tzach, the Tosfot. You also have Shaget Aryeh. There's other answers why they also give why this teaching is brought down. In any event, so we see from over here, when the Tana brought the name of Rabbi Meir, Tana Mishmei Rabbi Meir, when the Tana taught the name of Rabbi Meir, why did he even bring this Braita down? Because of what it was taught on top, where it said, Elohim shofet tzaddik ve'el zo'em bechol yom. And Hashem gets angry every single day. Why does Hashem get angry every single day? Because at the time when the sun rises and the kings of the east and the west, they place their crowns on their head and they bow down to the sun and they're interchangeable. So comes the Maharsha and he tells you, the reason why Hashem gets angry every single day is because of the other kings of the nations, of them bowing down to the sun, which resembles day. Rabotai, as I was thinking about this, maybe I'm just learning with you out loud, maybe that's why it's very important to go ahead and daven net, sunrise. Why? Because if that is the time when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gets angry, because the kings of the east and the west, they get up and they bow down to the sun, maybe that's why we should also go ahead and we should get up and daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to show that He is the king and not anything else, Rabotai, because they're angering Hashem and we want to please Hashem. Okay, Rabotai, that's why there is a machlokit, by the way, you should know, if it's lechatchila to daven netz, from the Shulchan Aruch, there's two ways you can understand it. Some want to explain that to daven netz is lechatchila, and anything after netz is bidi evid. Some want to learn, no, lechatchila is from netz until the 4th hour of the day. Meaning until you have all that time to daven. But Rabotai, we see over here what? We see over here how important it is to be careful with our deeds. You know, when sometimes you learn the Gemara and Masechet Berachot, we also see the importance of getting up for net. Okay, you think big deal. But now that you know this, now that you know that Hashem, the reason why He gets angry every single day, according to the Maharsha, is because of the kings bound down to the sun, it should give you a stronger reason to want to wake up in the morning, to want to go ahead and daven net. So this way, you can show HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, even though you have kings that are making you angry, I will make you happy by davening to you, by showing that you are the true and only God. Okay. Rabotai, with that we do conclude this whole topic of Hashem getting angry. Now, today, we're about to learn something very fascinating, which is not coincidence, because there's no such thing as coincidence when it comes to Hashem. This is mamish hashgacha pratis. This is divine providence. What I'm about to learn with you right now can help you change your elul. Before I do begin Masechet Berachot with the teaching of Rabbi Yochanan and the name of Rabbi Yossi, I want to tell you, just want to introduce the topic outside. Rabbi Yochanan is going to say in the name of Rabbi Yossi that better if a person goes ahead and he humbles himself one time in his heart, that's better than being punished by many lashes from somebody else. Now that's the Gemara. We'll see, Rabotai. Reish Lakish is going to say it's better that one humbles himself one time versus getting 100 lashes from outside. We'll see the Gemara. But before we do start, I want to bring out an idea. You ever ask yourself a question, how is it possible that people have no problem going against Hashem? Why? Why is it so easy for people to do the wrong things? Okay, we know Rabotai, the Yitzhar pushes you. That I know. Today I'm going to show you something fascinating. Something mind-boggling, mind-blowing. Why do people sin against Hashem? And not only that, after they sin, they make the wrong right. They tell you it's okay, nothing happened. Why? You have certain people that they'll feel bad. If I won't learn Torah Chas v'Shalom at a certain time, I could eat that could consume me. I could have a lot of regrets. Another person, big deal. I don't learn Torah. Oh, the end of the world? Yes, it's the end of the world. I'm asking you a simple question, Rabotai. How could it be for some people they don't have a problem doing Averos? For other people, it's hard for them to do Averos. For some people, it's hard for them to do Teshuvah. For other people, it's easy for them to do Teshuvah. Rabotai, what is the common denominator? What defines the common denominator to why people do what they do? Fascinating, Rabotai, fascinating. Listen to this. Rabbi Yochanan, in the name of Rabbi Yossi, is going to introduce to us a topic which is called Hachna'ah, subjugating oneself, lowering oneself. humbling oneself. The person that is able to do an avera without a problem, it's not because he really wants to do it. It's not because, yeah, the Eitzar is pushing him, but it's not good. The Eitzar also pushes me not to learn Torah. Doesn't mean I'm not going to learn. That's not, yes, those are the reasons. But there is another factor which plays a role when it comes to doing sins and repenting. And that, Rabotai, is one word, it's called ga'ava, ego, pride. A person that is egotistic, a person that thinks he's on top of the world. So when Hashem says you have to daven mincha, why have to daven mincha? Who says it's important to daven mincha? Always questions the Torah. The rabbis wrote it. It's not serious, not real. The Torah is real, whatever it might be. A person's ego doesn't allow him, Rabotai, to do the right thing. Give an example. You have a person, for whatever reason, Chas v'Shalom, he goes ahead and he beats up his wife. Instead of feeling sorry, instead of feeling broken, instead of giving in to his wife, what does he do? He makes that beating a right thing. You deserve. What happened? Where'd you come from? Animal, where'd you come from? Why? Because that's an ego. Okay, apologize. No, for what I have to apologize? Why I have to apologize to her? Who is she to me? I do everything for her. That's how you speak about your wife? Idiot, that's how you speak about your wife? This lady brought your children. That, Rabotai, is ego. When a person sins, a lot of us really can control ourselves. Hashem gave us, Rabotai, the power to be able to control ourselves. You have the Yetzer Hara, you have the Yetzer Tov. Who says you always have to listen to the Yetzer Hara? Listen to the Yetzer Tov. But know what? I want to go to the Yetzer Hara. Why you want to go? Big shot, Belin. Why you want to go to the Yetzer Hara? What happened? Go to the Yetzer Tov. The Ga'ava, the ego that he has, he wants to say that I'm bigger, I'm better, I'm stronger, I have money. That, Rabotai, over there is what's going to kill a person. These type of people we're going to see, Reish Lakish, also Rabbi Yochanan are going to say, these type of people, you could hit them a million times. And you want to humble them, you want to show them that they're wrong, you want to break them, you want to discipline them. Yeah, on the outside you might be doing damage, but in the inside they still feel, man, I have my ego still. I'm still prideful. They're still going to feel, they're not going to feel that they did something wrong. But Rabotai, what if the same guy that beat up his wife, he takes a moment, nobody touches him, he just takes a moment, looks back, says, why did I do that? Why did I do it? And he starts thinking, maybe she's more important than me. He starts giving in to her. He starts understanding her. What did I do? Why does she deserve it? She didn't, maybe it's me, I'm the bad guy. And then he starts apologizing. That is what we want to see today. The attitude is what determines if you're going to make a sin and if you're going to be able to do teshuvah. I'm not saying right now that people that are humble don't slip here and there. They might fall by accident, but they're not outright looking to do averus. Chas v'shalom. A person who has shame, a person who has busha, a person who's humble, Rabotai, a person who gives himself to Hashem, he's only going to want to do what Hashem says. But a person who has ga'ava, it's too much. Why should I listen to Hashem? I'm nobody? I'm nobody? I'm the one who supports all the yeshivas? No. I'm the one who gives money to the synagogues? No. Everybody calls me? No. Why do I have to listen? I could do whatever. That, Rabotai, the attitude is going to determine if you're able to go ahead and do teshuvah or not. But Rabotai, there's something even more scary over here. If a person can get beaten up from the outside and he's not going to be able to learn the lesson, that is very bad. Why? Because Hashem is going to continue sending a person problems until he learns his mistake. But what we're going to see today, that if a person is going to have that change within himself, he's going to break himself, he's going to lower himself, he's going to put his head down, he's going to say, you know something? I was wrong. I'm not on top of the world. Hashem, you are the one who's on top of the world. And I'm sorry that I've been doing affairs against you. When you start humbling yourself, when you start giving in to do, it's as if you become a real slave, you become a real servant to the service in Hashem, to the service of Hashem. Rabotai, that's it, finish. Automatically in your mind, you're always thinking, how and what can I do to make Hashem happy? That's it. But if you're not giving into Hashem, if you're not lowering yourself before Hashem, in your mind, you're like, oh man, I have to down shacharit, mincharavit, I have to learn what I have to do this. But that's why we came down to the world. It's only to do that. It's only to serve Hashem. So really, the thing that is holding us back from growing is our own ga'ava, our own prideful self. That's all. We're egotistic, Rabotai. It's all about us. What can I eat? Where can I go? What can I do? Who can I look at? Who can I make fun of? Where can I steal? It's all about us, Rabotai. When you look at about you, then Rabotai, there's nothing, it's going to be very hard. But when you look about what can I do to make Hashem happy, when that comes within yourself, you're going to be able to protect yourself from a lot of troubles. Let's see the Gemara now. Just remember, it's all about the attitude. It's all about the attitude. Ve'amar Rabbi Yochanan said, Mishum Rabbi Yossi, in the name of Rabbi Yossi. Here we go. Tova mardut achad bilibo shel adam. Better is one mardut. We'll see what mardut is. Better is one mardut in the heart of a person. Yoter mikama malkiot, more than many lashes. If you look to the blue column, not the blue column. If you look to the left column, the blue highlighted area where it says mardut achad. What does mardut mean? Rashi says, Lashon ridui v'hachna'a. It's a language, it's an expression of ridui, of going down, and the language of hachna'a, of submitting oneself, of humbling oneself, of subjugating oneself. Shadam sam alibo me'elav, where a person places it on his heart by itself. A person has an awakening to do teshuvah from within his heart. That one awakening is much better, Rabotai, than many lashes that a person is going to get to change. If I can say it in a better way, you can have a person stand there and rebuke and scream and scream and scream at you. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. What are the chances are you going to listen? Very slim. But if one day you're just sitting, you're learning or something, just a light bulb went on and you're like, why am I behaving like this? Why am I going in these ways? For what do I need it? That, Rabotai, is 1,000,000 times better than being rebuked 1,000,000 times. Having regret in your heart that what you're doing is wrong and you want to better yourself is better 1,000,000 times than being screamed at or thrown at or yelled at or spit at or hit at. Why is this so important to know? We come before El Rabotai. We're missing this attitude. We're not fully giving into HaKadosh Baruch. We're not really subjugating ourselves to Hashem. We don't believe that He's the King. We don't believe it. Yeah, I know it. Of course there's God. But how many of us understand that if there is a God, how in the world can we go against Him? Okay, we're human. We make mistakes. I agree, fine. So do teshuvah. Do sincere teshuvah. Do sincere teshuvah. Why don't we do sincere teshuvah? Why don't we feel bad, Rabotai, when you say Bitalnu Toratecha? Why don't you feel bad for all the, I don't want to even say hours that you've wasted, for all the years, when you put all that time, it accumulates to years, for all the years that you have given up to Stuyot? Why don't you feel bad? Do you really feel bad? No, you don't. We don't, Rabotai. Somebody told me the other day he almost lost $1,500. A whole Sunday he was looking for the money. He killed a whole Sunday trying to find the money. He found the money in the end. He found it. 1,500, big deal. You could have worked, you could have made your money back, no? But when you lose a few minutes of Torah, it doesn't bother you at all. I'll make it up. No, you won't. You won't get that time back. Impossible. There's no such a thing. Somebody sent me a nice quote. Hashgacha Pradas, Rabotai. Let me see if I can find this in my pictures. 1 second. Here, in Midrash Shmuel, Perek Hey, Pasuk Chav Bet, it says, Ein Aveda Ka'avedat Azman. What is the greatest loss to a person? There's no loss like the loss of time. You can't get back time. You, in the end, Rabotai, you'll pay every dollar that you have accumulated to get a minute back. That's going to be the emes. But now you're not appreciating the time that you have. You're young, you're healthy. Get up in the morning, learn Torah. Go to sleep late at night, learn Torah. During the day, learn Torah. When you're driving, learn Torah. Why waste your time? But Rabotai, it comes back down to who's more important. Ego. Am I important or is it Hashem that's important? If Hashem is important, do what He says. But if you're important, that's why you are where you are, Rabotai. That's why we're not growing. That's why we're not growing. You know, after this massacre that happened, yesterday, 2 days ago, in the bus with 6 people that got killed, and how many more got injured? Rabbi Schoenberg came out and he said there's a very bad decree in Shamayim. And people have to do serious teshuvah, Rabotai. We have to do serious teshuvah. When it comes, Rabotai, unfortunately, I don't want to be the one saying it. I'm not telling people not to relax. But everything has to be in parameters of halakha. You want to go relax, but learn Torah. Don't abandon Torah. We abandon everything, Rabotai. And pay close attention. When there's no learning Torah, there's more problems in the world. Where there's learning Torah, there's less problems. That's how it works. Rabotai. Hakol kol Yaakov ve'yadam yadayim Esav. The voice is the voice of Yaakov and the hands are the hands of Esav. As long as there's the voice of Torah, nobody can touch us. But when there's no voice, Rabotai, then it's the hands. That's why they're able to do whatever they want. You have to ask yourself, how long, how many, I don't want to even say time, I don't even want to say months, how many years, when you put all the time together, we have wasted. Can you really feel bad when you say, bitalnu Toratecha? Do you really feel bad? Do you really feel bad? Are you going to make any amends to make sure it never happens again? No. I asked one guy, he was doing slichot. I said, why are you doing slichot? I said, you don't sin. No, of course I sin. I said, what sins you do? He says, I don't learn Torah. Right? One of the things he said, whatever. So I said, but after slichot, you're going to go learn Torah? No. So why are you saying slichot? Liar, Blin. Why are you saying slichot? If you say, Hashem, forgive me for wasting time from not learning Torah, and then you're going to continue in your ways. I don't know, because everyone is doing so, I'm doing it also. Ay, Rabotai, we are living in a world of lies. That's what the problem is, you understand? Do what everybody does, say what everybody says. Monkey see, monkey do. Monkey do, monkey see. I don't know how that thing goes. Anyway, Rabotai, listen to what he says, Rashi. Look what Rashi says. Mardut achad loshen riduy v'hachna. It's a language of subjugation, language of lowering oneself. Shadam sam al libo me'alav. When a person places on his heart by itself, when that humility, when that subjugation comes to you, when you subjugate yourself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when it's within you, when that disciplinary action comes from you, nobody else is awakening you. It's you. You just, one day you say to yourself, something hits you and you say, no, that's it. Be'ezrat Hashem, I got to strengthen myself in Avodat Hashem. And start whatever it might be. And start working at it. When it's within you, Rabotai, he says, that's better than many lashes. If I would have whipped you and said, put on tefillin, you would not put on tefillin. If within you, you would have said, you know something? I want to start putting tefillin. I feel bad that I haven't been putting on tefillin. That one regret is better than many lashes. Rabotai, this before Elul is very important. Why? Because we come before Elul, we come before Rosh Hashanah. What's our attitude like? Are we making Hashem really HaMelech? Are we making Him the King? Or do we think He's the Melech and we're the Ha? We're the King and He's the King after Kings, right? Chas v'shalom. Rabotai, we have to understand our attitude determines if we're going to be able to do Teshuvah the proper way. And it's interesting, now that I think about it, people tell me, I'm talking about rich people, Rabotai. Whatever, however you want to define rich, 3 figures, meaning 300,000 they're breaking on, 600,000, $1 million, doesn't matter. They always say, Rabbi, what's so wrong? What's so wrong by making not kosher parties? What's so wrong by going to the beach? I'm not looking. What's so wrong by watching TV? I'm not doing. What's so wrong by not learning Torah? Every time they have this thing, what am I doing wrong? And now I realize with this Gemara, because they're full of themselves. They're full of number two. That's all they are. That's what they really are. Rabbi Walken used to tell me, these people that they pump millions and millions of dollars into their stomach, in the end, it's always going to be as number two. When they go and they make number two, they're going to flush everything down the toilet. This is exactly what they are, full of number two. You go tell a regular person, by man who understands Hashem, a person, even Rabotai, he has a lot of money, but if he's humble, he'll listen. He'll understand. Maybe this is the right thing, and he'll do what's right. But people that have ego, forget about it, Rabotai. Everything's about attitude. All right, let's see this over here. Rabbi Yochanan, the Amud Rabbi Yochanan said, Mishum Rabbi Yossi, in the name of Rabbi Yossi, Tova Rabotai, carve this into your heart. Tova mardut achat bilibo shel adam. Great is one subjugation. Great is one regret that a person has in his heart for the affairs that he did. Yoter mikama malkiot, more than many lashes that he would have been able to receive. Just digest that for a second. When you sit and you look back and you start humbling yourself and you start awakening yourself to Teshuvah, when it's one time within you, it's better than many lashes if somebody else would have given you to try to awaken you from that sin. How do we know this, Rabotai? From where do we know this? Shenema, because the pasuk says, "V'ritfa edem ahavech," and you chased its lovers. Vegomer, ve'amra, and then she said, "Elacha ve'ashuva el ishi harishon," and I'm going to return back to my first husband. Ki tov li az me'ata, because it's good for me. It's good for me then, from now. But I'm going to do the pasuk with you inside right now. But what do we see over here, Rabotai? Listen to this very carefully. We see from over here, from this pasuk in Hosea, in Perik Bet pasuk Tet, we see from over here what happened. Ve'amra, and she said, by the way, we'll see it's going on the Knesset Israel, it's going on the Jewish people. Ve'amra elacha, and she said, and I will go. Ve'ashuva el ishi harishon, and I will go to my first husband. We'll see it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ki tov li az me'ata, because it's better for me then from now. So we see over here what Rabotai, we see from over here, that when there is that awakening within, when you have that regret that what you did is wrong and you want to come back to Hashem, it's better when it comes from you than from anywhere else. That's what you ever wonder. Yeah, you hear Shurim, you hear Musar. You know how many times, Rabotai, how many times we hear Musar, we know what already needs to get done, and still we're not doing it. Because, Rabotai, you could tell me everything, you could tell me it'll come in from here, come out from here. But if I have that one day awakening from within me to change, it's me, it's serious, I'm in business. But when it's from the outside, you could do hundreds of those, millions, doesn't matter, but it's not going to penetrate. You ever heard the line, you ever heard the saying? When the person's time is going to come, he's going to realize he's going to change. Don't sit there and, grind water. Don't sit there and try to educate and become religious, because when the time comes, he's going to become religious. Either he's going to humble himself, or a situation is going to humble him that he's going to wake up and do teshuvah. But no matter how much you keep Shabbat, learn Torah, they're not going to understand until there's going to be a real awakening within him. Then only he's going to wake up. Rabotai, let's see this pasuk in Hosea. It's in Hosea in Perik Bet, pasuk Tet. The pasuk says, "V'ritfa edem ahavecha." We see it's going on Knesset Israel, and she chased her lovers, v'lo tasig otam, but she was not able to reach them. Ubikashtam v'lo timtza, she was looking for them, she was searching for them, and she was not able to find them. Ve'amra, and now she said, Elecha ve'ashuva el ishi harishon, and she said, now I will go and I will return to my first husband, ki tov li az me'ata, because it was better for me then than now. Rabotai, before I read for you in the Sefer Mikraot, in the Gemara itself, what this is going on, just give you an example. Not necessarily every single case is like that. You have exceptions to the rule, but I want to share with you where I've seen many couples just the other day. Mamash, I mean, I've seen before this, but just the other day I got a phone call from a guy regretting that he got divorced, regretting about time. And I want to explain to you what I mean. You know, you have a couple that they start arguing. I'll use a girl in this case, but what happened with me was the guy that called me. You have a couple that's arguing. You tell the wife, don't do it, stay with your husband. Listen, everybody mess up, forgive him. No, I want a divorce. No, I want a divorce. No, I want a divorce. Okay, fine. She gets the divorce, thinking she's going to find somebody better. She doesn't find somebody better because nobody's taking you with 3, 4, 5 kids. That's another mortgage on their head. She goes. Now this guy doesn't treat the kids right. He doesn't pay the bills. He treats her very improper and so on and so forth. Now that woman, the divorcee that got remarried, now starts thinking to herself, wow, my husband was right. My first husband was better than him. I had a better husband then than now. What did I do? But let me ask you guys, how many times do you tell a person, don't get divorced, don't do this, don't do this. Do they ever listen? Zero, no. Why? Ego. Back down to that's it, about that attitude. Ego, pride. If they would break themselves, if they would lower, if they would give in for a second and just listen to what we have to say, we wouldn't have this conversation. There wouldn't be no divorces. But no, it's their pride. So by me telling her, don't divorce doesn't help. But what happened automatically when she got married to the second guy? Now, within herself, she realized how the first guy was better. That, Rabotai, is what Rabbi Yochanan is saying, the name of Rabbi Yossi. And that's what we're going to see right over here in Hosea right now. Sometimes we can get rebuked, which in a way is like lashes. It doesn't have to be physical lashes, it could be lashes with words. Sometimes when we get rebuked over and over, learn Torah, be modest, do this, do that, we don't do. We're not, we understand, but we don't do. Because the thing that's interfering is the ego of the person. It's making a mechitza, it's making a partition between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore you're not able to do it. But one day is going to come when a person, like somebody told me, an old elderly gentleman, very nice guy, told me, Rabotai, when you're close to 90, when you're close to 100, you start thinking like that. Even earlier could be, depends how your situation is once you're old. He told me something fascinating. He says, why didn't I use all my younger years to learn Torah, to do mitzvot? Why did I waste? What can I do? I can do nothing now. Nursing home, sheshbesh, I can do nothing. That, Rabotai, is an awakening. People could have told him 1 million things, wouldn't change. But now he came to that himself. And that's what Rabbi Yochanan ben Rabbi Yossi is saying. When you come to the idea that you messed up and you wronged Hashem, and you want to become better, if it's within yourself, if you have that regret that came from within yourself, that's better than anyone else coming and rebuking you. So Rabotai, let's do over here Hosea, Perek Bet, Pasuk Tet. Let's just do over here. I want to do it in the Torah or Shalom. He says like this. When it says in the Pasuk, V'ritfa et ma'aveha, the commentary says, Av shitiyeh Knesset Yisrael rodevet achrei ha'umot ha'ohavim ota, even if Knesset Yisrael, the Jewish people, are going to be running after the nations that love it, which he puts over here in parentheses, Mitzrim ve'Ashur, lo tasigam lekabel mehem azaram. You're not going to be able to reach them to accept from them help. So now we understand when it says V'ritfa et ma'avecha, the commentary wants to say, when it says V'ritfa et ma'avecha, that even when the Jewish people are going to be running after the nations of the land that love us, thinking that they're going to be able to help us, continues the pasuk, and Hosea says, "V'lo tasigotam," you're not going to be able to reach them. They're not going to be able to help you. Ubikashtam v'lo timtza. We said, and you're going to search for them, and you're not going to be able to find them. He says over here, "Ubikasha otam," and you're going to search them. Ve'amra, and now Rabotai, when you're going to search them and you're not going to be able to find them, Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to say, Elecha ve'ashuva el ishi harishon. And I will go and I will return back to my first husband. Comes the commentary and he says, Ve'amra az tomar. Then the Jewish people are going to say, Eftach be'Hashem, let me trust in Hashem. Ki me'az keshaya botuchini bo haya li tov me'ata. Because then when I trusted in Hashem, it was better for me then than now. So we see from Avi Rabotai a very fundamental principle. Attitude. A person's attitude, Rabotai, determines everything. How do you approach Avodat Hashem? Do you approach Avodat Hashem thinking Hashem needs your Avodat Hashem? Or do you approach Avodat Hashem walking into Avodat Hashem to do it only because you, Hashem, said it and I want to make you happy? That's it. What's your approach? If your approach is Hashem needs my Avodah, no, He doesn't need your Avodah Hashem. But if your approach is Hashem needs my Avodah, I'm doing Him a favor, Rabotai, we have ego problems. But if you walk into Avodah Hashem, I'm serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu because you, Hashem, said to learn Torah. You, Hashem, said to wake up in the morning before nets, before dawn and daven nets. You, Hashem, said to do X, Y, and Z. You, Hashem. That, Rabotai, over there is what we're speaking about over here. That's when you're subjugating yourself. You're humbling yourself. You're giving in to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That, Rabotai, over there, if you do it, you will see your Avodat Hashem will increase 100% from where you are today. Try it. We don't, Rabotai, because whenever we have an option to do something right versus something wrong, automatically we are pulled to do something wrong. Why, Rabotai? Because our ego also plays a role. It's bad enough you have the Yetzer Hara pushing you to do the wrong thing, but the ego also, that's why it's attitude. That's what the Rambam says. It's not only that you should do teshuvah on all the averos that you did, but also you have to do teshuvah on midot ra'ot, on bad character traits, anger, courage, Rabotai, a lot of things. We have, ego, all these things. A person has to go ahead and work on them. Okay, so let's go back to the Gemara. So one more time. The Amud Rabbi Yochanan said, Mishum Rabbi Yossi, in the name of Rabbi Yossi, Tova mardut achad bilibo shel adam. Great is one subjugating in a person's heart. Meaning, it's great when a person has one regret in his heart. He feels bad that he did something wrong. That's better. Yoter mikama malkiyot is better than many lashes. Shenema, like the pasuk says, V'ritfad ma'avecha v'gomer v'amra elecha v'ashu elishi harishon ki tov li az me'ata. In Hosea Perek Bet pasuk tet. That was the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan, named Rabbi Yossi. Now, when we look over here in the Rashi, in the red, the highlighted section to your left, V'ratfad ma'avecha v'gomer ukishitir'eh she'en ozer. Remember, now that we did the commentary, now we're able to understand. Whenever the Jewish people are going to see that there's no help, Tasim al libash, they're going to place on their heart, Lemor, saying, Ashuva el ishi harishon, I'm going to return back to my first husband, meaning to Hashem. We learn from the word V'ratfad ma'avecha, etc., etc., etc. Rabotai, we learn from over here that when a person has one regret in his heart, it's better than many lashes that had been given to him. We see what it means, Rabotai, harata, to regret. Okay. Reish Lakish Amar, Reish Lakish said, Yoter mime'a malkiyot. This is beautiful. Reish Lakish said, when Rabbi Yochanan said in the name of Rabbi Yossi that Tova mardut achad bilibo shel adam yoter mikama malkiyot, that one regret in a person's heart is better, or it's better than many more lashes. Comes Reish Lakish and he says, no, not many more lashes. Reish Lakish Amar Yoter mimeya malkiyot. It is better than 100 lashes. Rabotai, can you imagine if a person would have gotten 100 lashes versus having that regret, having that awakening within? Reish Lakish says, if you go ahead and he has that awakening, it's better than giving him 100 lashes. Because when it's with 100 lashes, there's no guarantee he's going to change. But when it's within you yourself, you're going to change. So he brings a pasuk, Shenema, like the pasuk says, Tehat ga'ara We'll see, Rabotai, Rashi can go into this whole word, tehat. Tehat gara, when a person, tehat gara b'mivin, when you rebuke a person of understanding, mehakot kisil me'ah. When you go ahead and you rebuke a person of understanding, it's better than going ahead and hitting, basically lashing a full 100 times. So over here, Reish Lakish wants to learn that tahad gera b'mivin, when a person goes ahead and if you rebuke yourself within yourself, if you're a person of understanding, you're going to change Rabotai. It's better that you do it than to go ahead and start hitting a full 100 times, because there's no guarantee he's going to change. So let's just see the pasuk in Mishlei. Tehad gera b'mivin mehakot kisil mi'ah. It is better to rebuke an understanding person than to go ahead and give many makot, give many lashes to a fool. Let's just see it in the back. This is in Mishlei Perek Yuzayin pasuk Yud. Okay. He says, what means tahat? Ge'arat ha-mochiach. Tahat literally means, when you say tahad ha-ge'ara, it really means the rebuke of the one that's rebuking. He matelet ema belev ha-mavin. It places fear in an understanding heart. Rebuke places fear in an understanding heart. Yoter mimma shicharet ha-kisil im yokam me'amakot. More than what a fool is going to be afraid of if you're going to hit him 100 times. Tehad, he says, inam pachad v'hachna'am. He says, when it says over here, tehad, it's a matter of pachad, it's a matter of fear and subjugation. So when it says over here, tehad gera b'mivin, when a person goes ahead and he rebukes himself, with that one rebuke, he's able to put fear in himself. But in which person? A person with understanding. Which people are with understanding? A person that has no pride, no ego, a person that is humble. These type of people, Rabotai, can go out and rebuke themselves. You know, you ever get rebuked and you get upset? That means you have an ego issue. It says, rebuke the smart, the wise, and don't rebuke the fool, because they're not going to like it, they're going to get upset with you. So to Rabotai, tehad ge'ara b'mivin, when you go out and you rebuke yourself, if you're a person of understanding, it's better to rebuke yourself one time, Rabotai, than going ahead and hitting a full 100 times. You know why? Because a fool that gets hit 100 times, there's no guarantee he's going to change. He might not even change. Because inside, he's still that same evil person. He's still a fool inside. What? Just because you hit him, you think he's going to change? It's like, if I can give you an example, you see today with people, that they go to jail, right? They did something wrong, they go to jail. So you think going to jail is going to break them, is going to make them submissive and humble them. No, they come out worse than they went in. Why? Because it never came from within. What we want to see in today's Masechet Berachot is that having that initial rebuke comes from within yourself. To rebuke yourself and say, I'm wrong, I messed up, I want to come back to you, Hashem. That, Rabotai, is better than anything else. So we're looking to Rashi now. Rashi says, Tehad ge'ara b'mivin, in the yellow highlighted area to your left. Tehad ge'ara be'adam mivin. If you're going to go ahead and you're going to rebuke a person of understanding, Tova, that's better to go ahead and rebuke a person of understanding, me'akol kisil me'ah, than from hitting a full 100 times. If you're going to ask me right now, Rabbi, what should I do? If I have an option, should I hit a fool 100 times so he can change? Or should I rebuke a person of understanding one time and he's going to change? What's better? Comes Reish Lakish, and Rashi explains Reish Lakish. He says, it is better to go to speak to a person of understanding. Rebuke a person of understanding, because he will change. But don't waste your time with dealing with a fool, because he'll never change. Now Rashi goes on to break the word tehad. Okay, so let's just bear with me for a second. He says, how do I know? Because remember, this word tahat over here, when you look over here in the Gemara, right, it says Shenimar. I highlighted it in red. When it says the word tehat, tehat literally could mean instead of, in place of. So how does Rashi know that this word tahat over here means is placing fear and subjugation in the person, meaning rebuke a person of understanding, because such a person is going to be able to place in his heart fear. But don't go ahead and start hitting a fool, because he'll never learn. How do we know that this word tehat literally means, Rabotai, that it's going to fear and subjugation? Maybe it means in place of. So he says, I'll tell you why. He says, when I'm in the pink highlighted area, where it says tehat hatam, so he says tehat hatam l'mayla tachat hatav. Okay. He says when you take the word tehat, the tam, the cantillation. You know, we have, if you ever see by the Sefer Torah, you have a person, you have Zerika, Pazer Gadol, right? So we have all these ta'amim. That's what it's called, ta'amim. It's cantillation. So the tehat, hatam, the cantillation, lemala, which tells you have to go up, you have to emphasize the word taf, is tachat, it's underneath hataf, it's underneath the word taf. Just, I want to see if I could do something. I don't know if I could do it. Let me see if I could do it. I want to try to see if I can show. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the Nikudot over here, but I want to just show you something. Okay. Rabotai, when you take the word tahat, so I'm going to just split up for a second. The ta'amim, the cantillation, is underneath the word taf, right over here. Let me see if I could do it. Oh, you know something? Maybe I could do this 1 second. No. Okay, you see that kam again. It's not the cancellation, but it's similar to that. The cancellation in the Chumash will be underneath the taf, which tells me you have to emphasize on the taf. Okay, so watch this, Rabotai. There's a difference. Watch. Let me just show you. Let me go back over here. Tachat, right? Tehat. When you're dealing with the word tehat, hatam lemayla, the cancellation which tells you to go up is underneath the letter taf. What I just showed you over here. The cancellation is underneath the letter taf. Now, v'lo kimo al tira ve'al tehat. And it's not like in another passage where it says you do not be afraid and do not be scared. In Devarim, shitamo bechet, where the cancellation over there is by the chet. Okay, let me just show you over here. In another pasuk, this cancellation, this one right over here, is underneath. It's underneath the chet, right over here. So which tells me emphasize on the letter chet. Rather, it's the ones who tell that the cancellation is telling you that you should go above. You should go. It's above but it's above underneath the letter tav, meaning you should emphasize the word tav. Wait. Let me say one more time. One more time. Tehat atam l'malot tachat atav. V'lo kimo al tirav al techat. Fine. Shitamo bechet ela l'malot tachat atav. Rishon. Right. We have to read the whole thing like this. Rather, the cantillation is telling you that you should go above. It's underneath the letter tav, the first one, right? Because we have over here two tafs. We have one taf right over here, and then I have another taf. So that's what he's trying to tell me over here. Don't make a mistake thinking that the cancellation should go over here. It's not going over here. Rather, it's going right over here on the first stuff. That's what Rashi is telling us right now. Okay. So he says, Ela l'mayla tachat hatav rishon. Rather, you're going to put the cantillation under the first stuff. Lomar, now listen to the Rabotai. Shuhu shem davar. It comes to tell you that it's the name of the thing, meaning it's a noun. She'iv shali potro loshon tif'al. Because I cannot go and I cannot explain it. It's impossible to explain it that this tehat is the language of a verb. Lomar tachni'et adam. To say that something else should go ahead and subjugate, something else that should go and make the person humble. That's not what it's coming to say. Eila techna hi batzma. Rather, it's coming to teach you that the person himself, that's what it's an about the person himself should make themselves humble. Not like the other way we could learn. It's not coming to teach you that it's a verb where someone else is making him humble. No. It's a noun where he himself has to make himself humble. That's why he changed the nukuda. That's why he put the tam underneath the tav to tell you that it is a noun, and this word is not a verb. This verse or word is not a verb. Okay. Okay, Rabbi, let's just do the Rashi one more time from the beginning till the end. So, Techad Ge'ara b'mivin. Reish Lakish said it is better that if a person has one regret in his heart, he feels bad, it's better that he has one regret than had you given him 100 lashes. Rashi says, Tehad Ge'ara b'mivin. What does that mean? Tehad Ge'ara b'adam b'mivin tov me'hakod kisil me'am. It is better to go ahead and rebuke a person of understanding where he's going to have that fear inside of him. That's better to do that versus going ahead and trying to hit a full 100 times. So how do we know the word tahad does not mean in place? How do we know tahad means it should instill fear, like it's a rebuke? Hatam l'mayla tachat havav. Hataf. The cantillation tells you to go tahad, you have to read it above, which is underneath the tav. V'lo kimo al tira ve'al techat. And not like the passage where it says al tira ve'al techat, shetamot bechet, where the cantillation is underneath the chet. Ela l'mayla tachat hatav. Rather, it's going to be above, underneath the tav. Meaning, Ela l'mayla tachat hatav. Rather, we're going to tell you that the cantillation tells you to go up, which is underneath the tav, rishon, the first tav, not the second one. Lomar, to tell you shu shem davar, to tell you that it's a noun, she'iv shali patro loshon tifal, because you can't learn this pasuk that is telling you a verb. Lomar tachni et ha'adam, to say, go ahead and humble a person. Ela tichna hi batzma. Rather, it's trying to tell you that a person has to go ahead and he has to humble himself. V'lekach shinat nikudota lomar shu shem davar. That's why he went and he changed the vowels to tell you that it's a noun and not a verb. Okay. Rabotai, let's just quickly do the Gemara, and with that we will conclude. So we began today, Tani Mishmei Rabbi Meir, was taught in the name of Rabbi Meir. B'sha'ah she'hachama zorachat, at the time when the sun rises, v'chol malachim mizrach u'ma'arav menichim ketrim berushahem, and all the kings of the east and the west, they place their crowns on their head, u'mishtachim l'chama, and they bow down to the sun. Miyad HaKadosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu, immediately Hashem gets angry. We saw the Maharsha said, why was this teaching even brought down over here? To teach us one simple point. Since we spoke about it in the beginning, Ve'el zo'em b'chol yom, that Hashem gets angry every single day. Do you know why Hashem gets angry every single day? Because of the kings that go ahead and they bow down to the sun at sunrise. How do we know that that's the case? How do we know that that's exactly the reason? Maharsha says, because since it says in the pasuk Yom and sun are the same thing. When I say it's a sunny day, that means it's day outside. When I say it's day, that means it's sun. So we see it's hinting to us that the reason why Hashem gets angry every single day is because the kings bow down to the sun. Rabbi Yochanan said, Mishum Rabbi Yossi, in the name of Rabbi Yossi, Tova mardut achad b'libo shel adam. Better is one regret, better is one subjugation in a person's heart, yoter mikama malkiot, more than many lashes. Like the pasuk says, "V'ridfad ma'ahavecha," and she chased her lovers, v'gomer, and etc. V'amra, and then the pasuk says, "Elacha v'ashuva elishi harishon ki tov li az me'ata." And the Knesset is short. The Jewish people said, "And I will go back to my first husband because it's better for me then from now. So we see from over here that when a person has an awakening within, it is better than going ahead and hitting him many lashes. Because by hitting a person many lashes, there's no guarantee he's going to change. But when he changes from inside, you know it's going to last. Reish Lakish said, Yoter mi'me'am malkiot. One regret, one subjugation in the heart, one feeling bad, and awakening that sense of teshuv that I'm wrong and I have to be better, that is better than 100 lashes if you would have given to a person. Like the pasuk says, that is better, it's better to go ahead and try to rebuke a person of understanding than from hitting a fool 100 times. Rabotai, we